Hi, good morning, everybody. How is everyone doing today? I'm just going to check that we have gone live in the group. Welcome, welcome, everybody. I hope you're having a great day so far. I am so excited to be here with you all for the ABCs of Strong Posture Workshop. So this is great. I apologize if there's any extra noise, but I am excited to be here with you all. I'm just checking if it's actually gone live in the group. Yes, it's working. Okay, cool. Awesome. So as you guys arrive, let me know that you're here. And I'm using a platform called StreamYard. And so I can't actually see your name. It just says Facebook user. So if you want to just drop your name into your comments, or if you want to go up into the description of this post, you can grant StreamYard permission to see your name. Otherwise, whenever you comment, it will just say Facebook user, unless you let me know. And I would love to know who's talking so that we can have a chat. So thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm so excited that there's people here already. Hooray. So let's see. Let me know in the comments how you guys are doing today. How's your week so far? I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear. So I'm really excited to be here with you all. So what we're going to do is, yes, I'm setting up to share my screen because today we're going to be doing the ABCs of strong posture. So you may not have realized that we got to go back to basics sometimes, right? And when it comes to our posture, it's really important that we know the fundamentals, because your posture, as we're going to learn, has such an impact on your overall health, your energy level, your ability to focus, your pain level, your overall function in your body. All of it's connected, right? And so that's what we're going to learn more about today. So I'm excited to be here with you all. So I'm just going to pop over. So when I go into the presentation, I'm not actually going to be able to see your comments. So I will come back and check on the comments. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in there, because I'm very excited to share with you. All right, so let's see. Dun, dun, dun. And we're just going to close this up a little bit. And we are going in. So welcome, everybody. Today we are going to be doing the sit, stand, and walk taller workshop so that you learn the ABCs of your strong posture. So let me know in the comments. I have it pulled up over here on my phone so that I can see what's happening. So this is looking good. Awesome. Okay. Bingo bango. Exciting news. Don't you just love it when technology works for you? I do. All right, here we go. So welcome, everybody. As you probably know, my name is Megan Nolan, and I am a personal trainer and a yoga instructor. And part of my work is helping people stay healthy and happy at work. And so I developed this group and an online program called Yoga at My Desk. So I'm excited to be sharing these tools that will help you stay healthy and happy at work, because the tools of yoga are so amazing and practical, and you can integrate them into your day anytime. A lot of people think, I got to be on my yoga mat to be doing yoga, and that's simply not the case. You can do yoga anytime, anywhere, because yoga is bringing our awareness inwards and focusing on our breath and our alignment and our energy, and really it's a very powerful tool set. So let me know in the comments. I can actually see here. Stop talking. Oh, hi, Michael. Great. I'm just going to turn the volume down. Let me see. There we go. Okay, so Michael's here from Orlando. Awesome. Cool beans. All right, so as I mentioned, my name is Megan Nolan, and I just wanted to share a little bit of a quick story as to how I became really interested in this work and sharing these tools with you. So I have been doing personal training and teaching yoga for about 16 years. I have to do the math every now and again to be able to stay current with that. So I've been doing this for about 16 years. And when I first started doing this, I was exclusively personal training. And at the time I was, I was working at a gym, and I was learning all the amazing tools of exercise, which is a great addition to the tools of yoga. And then shortly after, I did my yoga teacher training, and I was loving integrating all these tools. And so I was practicing a style of yoga called Ashtanga yoga. And in Ashtanga, you do a lot of the sequence that you might be familiar with. You do plank, and then you go upward dog, and then you go downward dog. So you're doing a lot of this sort of motion repetitively. At the same time, I was learning how to box with a friend of mine. So I was in this sort of position a lot. And so, keep in mind, I was doing this sort of movement and this sort of movement quite a bit. And then my hands went numb. It started in one hand, and it was just periodically. And then my whole hand went numb, and then it started to creep up my arm, and to about my forearm, elbow, I couldn't feel my hand. And then it happened on the other side. And, when it first started happening over here, I was like, whoa, this is not okay. I need to resolve this. And everyone thought maybe it was your wrist because of all of the planking and such, or maybe from the boxing as well. And then nobody had a solution. I couldn't get it resolved. And it was, getting worse and worse. And I was like, this is not okay. I need to resolve this. Something's clearly wrong, and we need to fix it. Finally found my way to a physical therapist who told me, Megan, it's not your hands, it's not your arms, it's actually coming from what's called your brachial plexus. So that's the nerves that go down into your arms. They're being closed off because you're like this too much, because you're in this sort of posture and in this sort of posture all the time. So your chest muscles are getting so tight that it's shutting off the nerve pathway. And so my hands were numb, I was freaking out. Welcome, everybody. I'm glad that you're here. I can't see your comments, but please comment, and I'm going to pop back over there in a minute. So that we can chat. And so there I am, my hands are numb and all the way up to my elbows, both hands now. And I'm like, whew, this is scary. And so the physical therapist said, it's coming from your chest. So what's happening is that your posture is you're like this too much. So I'm just going to turn, make sure I don't squash the puppy. So you're going to turn. I was in this sort of posture too much, and it was causing that posture, that effect in my body. And so I was blown away. And so he taught me about restoring the balance in my joints so that we are creating more mobility, stretching out muscles that are getting tight, activating muscles that are getting sleepy. Because what I was presenting with, what was going on with me, was very similar to what was happening from all of his clients and patients that come from working at a desk all day. So although I wasn't working at a sedentary job, doing this sort of thing, I was in a very similar rounded posture with my hands in front of me, and that was causing the effect in my body and in my hands. So I was so grateful to have this information because it allowed me to combine the tools of exercise and activating and strengthening and opening up, as well as the tools of postural awareness and breath awareness and stretching and flexibility, because it's always about a balance, right? We know that life is about balance. And so it's really important that we have balance in our joints. And so when I was able to restore that balance by opening up the muscles in my shoulders and my chest and activating the muscles in my upper back that were getting weak, then the numbness went away, because I was having pain and numbness in my arms and in my hands. And so when I could restore the balance, then the numbness went away. And so I was just so grateful. And so I really understood at that point how important it is that we're doing things to both strengthen and release so that we can maintain the balance at the joints. So that's so, so important. So I'm going to pop back over, and you guys let me know any questions about that. So I'm just going to go back over here, and Michael, awesome. So yeah, hi Simran, welcome everybody. Great to have you all. I'm super excited that you're all here. And so it's just sharing about how I became interested in this work and how I became really excited to share these tools with you all. So what I'm going to share now is, go back into this. Here we go. So the realities of our modern life, right? Globally, more people work in an office. Be that right now, most people work in a home office, right? Given our current global situation. But most people work in an office more so than any other work setting. Most people sit for about 8 hours every day. So why don't you guys let me know in the comments how many hours you sit or you think that you sit. So, when you guys came into this group, I asked you that question, and most of you were sitting over like 4 or 5 hours every day. So that's pretty significant. And in addition to sitting, we tend to be on some sort of device, right? And so, our phone, our computer. So case in point right now, most people average 2.3 devices at a time. I have a computer in front of me and I'm holding and working on a phone. And over 50% of people use more than 3 devices. So that's pretty significant. So that's the reality of our modern life, is that we are working on computers and we're sitting down. And so that's causing a whole host of issues in our body. 70% of the world's population deals with what is called tech neck. So that's neck and shoulder tension because of being on a technological device all the time. The second most common reason of going to the most common reason of going to the doctor is lower back pain. So again, this has to do with the posture and the position that we're in most of the day. So what we're seeing is what's called a postural de-evolution. So what a lot of people are working at a computer, sitting at a desk all day. And here's what's happening is that we are seeing, we have this progression in our body of being like, at one point, we're upright and we're mobile and we're walking because we came a long way from our friend over here on the left-hand side who was walking on all fours. Then we started to use tools. And then we started to see ourselves kind of scrunching back over again. So what do you think is the most commonly used tool of our modern day life, right? Let me know in the comments because I can see them. What is the most commonly used tool? Hello, it's a computer, right? And so it took us a long time, thousands of years, millions of years to be able to walk upright. And now we're seeing our body go slouching over. So the way that we work is very significantly impacting our bodies. And if it continues the way that it is right now, then we're going to start to see a drastic change in our body. And you probably have already felt that, right? You feel it if you sit on the computer for too long. You start to feel yourself kind of like scrunching over into that sort of posture that I was talking about that was causing the pain in my body that you probably feel. Let me know in the comments if you guys feel, if you sit for too long, what do you feel? Do you feel swelling in your legs, or maybe your feet swell up, or maybe your lower back, or maybe your upper back, or maybe your eyes? A lot of people get headaches. Maybe you do get numbness in your wrists and hands. So there's a lot of symptoms that come from sitting. And so what we started to, there's an amazing study that came out and it was looking at data from 3,000 office workers. So in France, Germany, and the UK. And there was consistent reports of everything that we've been talking about: muscle pain, shoulder tension, headaches, eye strain, high blood pressure. We'll get into that because sitting actually has a negative effect on your heart. You might think that sitting is actually easier on your body. It's not. It slows everything down. All the rhythms and the circulation and all that slows down. We'll talk about that more in a minute, but sitting is actually really, really unhealthy. And so, because everything's slowing down, we can have weight gain, and affects our blood sugar levels, which can cause diabetes, stress. In addition to the high stress environment that you may be in, sitting and slouching actually causes stress. We'll talk about that more in a little bit, but it's interesting to think of. So it can cause insomnia and depression. So the main cause of all of these symptoms was determined to be long periods of physical activity at a desk, i.e. sitting on your bum for a long time, right? So they started to look at what this would look like in our body if we didn't do anything to change it. And it's not pretty. I'm not going to lie. It's not pretty. So they called her Emma. And so this is what Emma is predicted to look like. She's predicted to have severe physical pain, collapsed, weak, and rounded posture, having eye strain, headaches, computer vision syndrome, which is eye strain from looking at something at a very close range for most of the day, heart issues. So when we sit, our circulation slows down significantly. So that means that your blood flow throughout your body is slowing down. So your heart has to work harder to kind of keep everything flowing, and it increases your blood pressure. So that is, that's something that we want to keep low. So high blood pressure, no good. And then when your blood is not moving as much, then we start to have pooling or, kind of gathering of the blood in the lower limbs, so in the legs, which can put us at risk for blood clots. So that's an issue in itself. It actually can increase our cholesterol levels. It slows down our ability to burn and use fat. So that's really significant, which causes the weight gain and causes metabolic syndrome. So metabolic syndrome is also now being called sitting disease. Not good. So what that means is metabolic syndrome is basically a class of risk factors: high blood pressure, high blood cholesterol, weight gain around the midsection, and high blood sugar. So this is actually, unfortunately, a very common case, especially here in the Western world, not so much in other countries because there's more activity throughout the day, but definitely as we see people sitting at a desk more, this is becoming more and more common. So when we sit down, it really limits our ability to breathe deeply. So it can cause problems in our lungs. It can cause stress. It can cause impacts on our health. It can cause mental health challenges, insomnia, depression, anxiety. So this is all pretty significant. And it's really collectively taking a toll on the human body. And so they looked at Emma, this is the work colleague of the future, they looked at her and this is what she's predicted to eventually look like. And so what you're seeing here is, again, not pretty, right? So if you look at her upper back, she's in that rounded slouch position so constantly that it causes a distortion in her spine, which again causes pain. Sedentary work, we're not moving. So sedentary is when you're not moving. Okay, so you might see that word here, but sedentary is not moving. So when everything's slowing down, you know, your calories you're not burning as many calories, you're not burning as much fat, everything starts to slow down. We can tend to gain weight. When the muscles are not working, we tend to get sleepy muscles. So that's one of the areas is the abdominal area tends to get a little sleepy. So poor blood flow into the legs can cause varicose veins or swelling in the feet. And then if you look up, you know, then her skin is starting to get kind of sallow from being just in artificial light. And then when the arms are, you know, close to the laptop, it can cause eczema because that's another thing people deal with. And then dry eyes from staring at the computer. So one powerful tool that you can integrate is called the 20-20-20 exercise. At least every 20 minutes, look as far away as you can see. Ideally, if you have a window, look out the window because then it gives you the natural light. You want to look as far away as you can see. Because when we look at a computer, we're looking at something very close range, which doesn't allow your eyes to maintain their strength and ability to look at a full spectrum, especially at far distance. So it can cause us to strain our eyes, which causes us to, you know, potentially, if our eyes are weakening, go into a weaker posture. And so it has this trickle effect. Keep your eyes healthy, less headaches. Okay, so that's important to remember. Just turns out that gazing off into space is actually good for you, right? Okay, so now, and then another one was the hairy ears and nose. And I was like, ooh, why? Because the air quality in the office is not so good. Okay, so let me know. I'm going to pop back over. What do you guys think? Emma, oh my goodness, how is that? Let me know in the comments. Michael, anybody else that's here? Awesome. Yeah, it's not looking good. If we keep it up, we're going to end up looking like Emma. So that's no bueno, right? So we want to stay healthy and strong. That's the point. What can we do? How to do that is up to you. Okay, so the good news is you're going to learn today tools to help you sit, stand, and walk taller. That's really important to keep your mind and your body healthy, 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 healthy. That's what we're going to learn about. So I'm going to go now into the ABCs. So we're going to learn about the ABCs of strong posture. So drop an A in the comments if you guys are ready. So I'm going to drop an A in the comments just to make sure it's still working. Awesome. Okay. So A, what do you think A is for, guys? If you could take a guess, what do you think A is for? Well, as it is with anything, A is for awareness, right? So A is for becoming aware, and you're doing that by being here today. So that's amazing. Thank you, Michael. Awesome. So you're doing a great thing for yourself simply by being here, by heightening your awareness of how important it is to keep your body healthy and strong is really, really important. And so I want to applaud you. Round of applause. And you give yourself a little pat on the back. Just take your hand and give yourself a little pat on the back, because taking the time to empower yourself with tools, my friend, is amazing. And it's a lot more than most people do. So good on you. Kudos to you. I'm proud of you. First thing that you need to become aware of is how often do you get up and move when you're at your desk? That's very important, right? Awesome. Thanks for all the A's in the comments. Great. So how often do you guys get up and move when you're working at the desk? Let me know in the comments because I can see them here. This is great. This is very exciting. So let me know how often you guys get up and move. I'm just going to switch the slide because here's the thing. The longer we sit, the less we move, right? That's logical. Makes sense. The longer we sit, the less we move. And the less we move, the slower our circulation, right? Because if you're not moving, then your muscles don't need that, increased blood flow. The oxygen carbon dioxide exchange doesn't need to happen as quickly, so your circulation slows down. So also to think of is when we sit, so say this is your spine, and this is of course your head up here, and then this is you sitting, so this is your hips right here, and then your legs. Okay, so this is you. So when we sit, the circulation to our legs slows down, right? Because there's a bit of a disjoint here if you're sitting down versus being standing up, then there's easy blood flow up and down to the legs. When we're sitting, there's a little bit of a limitation because our hips are in a flexed position. So this can cause blood pool in our legs, which can cause the numbness, the swelling, and the fatty acid buildup that I was talking about before. So that's really important, because we need to keep our blood flowing so that we can keep our blood pressure down. This is important for the health of your heart overall, because we don't want to tax it by making it have to really work hard. So it's really important that we're getting up and moving frequently, because as your blood pressure goes up, your ability to burn fat goes down. And the more fat we have in our bloodstream, the more we're at risk for other chronic diseases. Okay, so it's really important. And also, that, burning fat, when we use it, then we don't store as much, and then we don't have weight gain, and then we don't have risk factors for diabetes and heart disease and all of that. So the more we can get up and move, the better. Okay, so this is really important to remember. So the ideal scenario, the gold standard, is that you don't sit for more than 30 minutes. Okay, this is a habit that you need to get into. And I highly recommend, and I will totally 100% admit that I have to set an alarm. And I am, I'm right here with you, and I got all the tools, but in order for me to really put them into practice, I have to set a timer. So here's my thing. Whenever I get in front of my computer, I set a timer for 25 minutes because I like to be a little ahead of the curve, right? Let me know if you hear me, if you like to be a little ahead of the curve too. So I set a timer for 25 minutes. When it goes off, then I get up and I do a little yoga break. I stretch, I look out, remember, because that 20/20 for the eyes. And then once I go back, I reset the timer. Okay, so that's important, because not only does it actually increase your productivity, because you know what you're doing. You have 25 minutes work for that 25 minutes solid. No phone, no Facebook, no distraction, go. So actually it increases your productivity, because the work that we have to do actually will either compress or expand based on the amount of time that we have to do it. So if you condense the time that you have to get things done, then you actually get more done. And then you get up and you have a break. Okay, so that's the ideal. The gold standard is every 25 minutes or 30 minutes, and at the very least every 60. So this is important, because what tends to happen when we sit for long periods of time is that our next A, our alignment, really starts to be compromised. Okay, I was going to say something else there, but I want to keep my language good. So the next A that we're looking at is alignment. And so this is really important, because if you look at our friend here, Mr. Blue, looking good, right? Everything in align. That's what alignment is all about. Not to be cheeky, just to be straightforward. So everything is in align. So his ears, we're looking at Mr. Blue, his ears are over his shoulders, over his hips. And this is important, because if you look at the diagram below, that's the natural curvature of the spine, is to have that S curve. Whereas Mr. Green over here, not looking good, right? So very slouchy, very forward head posture. So that everything that we're talking about in relation to the pain in our neck and shoulders and our tension in our back has to do with what's called forward head posture. And you can see how it's got its name, right? If you look at our friend Mr. Green, is it clear how he got his name? Let me know in the comments with the yes if it's clear how Mr. Green gave us the name for the symptom that we're all dealing with. It's called forward head posture. So he is slouchy, sloucher sends over here. So this is important, because your head is heavy. Who wants to guess how heavy your head is approximately? Can anybody give me a ballpark number? Anybody? Awesome. So Levit, awesome. Yes, getting up every 30 minutes. That's fantastic. Love it. So anybody got a guess on how heavy your beautiful noggin is? I'll tell you, it is approximately anywhere between 8 and 12 pounds. Okay, so anywhere between 8 and 12 pounds. That's significant. Your head is heavy. And that is when you're in ideal alignment. That is when your ears are over your shoulders. Okay, so that's when we're in Mr. Blue alignment. Whereas when we're in Mr. Green alignment, every time your head moves an inch forward of your shoulders, the weight of your head doubles. Okay, so let's, for easy math, say that your head is 10 pounds. So if your head is 10 pounds, when it's right over top of your shoulders, then as it starts to gravitate forward towards the screen, it gets heavier and heavier and heavier. Okay, so Mr. Green, his head is, approximately, let's just say 5 inches further forward of his shoulders. So that makes his head, very significantly heavy. That's why the neck and shoulder muscles have to work extra hard, because they have to hold up that beautiful watermelon of yours out in this really awkward position, right? So it's really important that we become aware of our alignment. Very good. You guys following me so far? So aware of our alignment, because how we sit, so our posture, you're always in a posture, whether it's stronger or weaker. Some people say good or bad, but I say strong and weak, because we have the alignment of your body when you're in good alignment is strong posture. It's weaker because when we start to round over, everything is in a compromised position and doesn't work as well. So your muscles aren't designed to hold you in a Mr. Green posture. They're designed to hold you more upright. You guys is that making sense? So here's the thing. You likely know already, because you probably heard me say this to you, is that everything is connected, right? You guys know that. The web of life is very true, and it's very true within your body. So your mind and your body are obviously connected, right? The bird agrees. So your mind and your body are very connected. So this is really important for us to remember, because the way that we hold our body will impact how our mental state is. And then your mental state will also impact the way you hold your body. We're going to talk about more in a minute. But when we sit in that weak posture, we're sending the signal to our body, because we're in that slumped over position that, maybe we're not feeling as good or energized right now, or maybe we're starting to feel a little bit sluggish and tired. Whether or not you feel it that way, but look at the way he's holding himself, that from a body language perspective is what indicates, right? So it definitely impacts how you present yourself, your confidence, your appearance, and it absolutely affects your overall health. We talked earlier about the impacts of sitting, and we talked about all the risk factors, the sitting disease, the higher risk for blood pressure, diabetes, all of that, of course, is going to impact your health, right? So we are moving on to the forward head. Yeah. So here's the thing. So as you gravitate forward into that forward head position, when we're rounded over, this is what's called tech neck. So we were talking about how heavy the head is, right? And so it starts to gravitate forward. It gets heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. And this is really important to remember, because the further forward our head is, the heavier it gets, right? And so this is super important. And this tension and this can cause pain. It can cause pain and tension because the muscles are having to work extra hard. And so here's the thing, is that, yes, it's commonplace for us as adults to be using computers and phones and tablets, iPads, what have you. But we're absolutely seeing this at a higher and higher rate with little ones, right? Tell me you haven't seen a little one who's like awesomely skilled at an iPad. That puts me to shame, right? Because, yeah, screen time, it's a thing. And so it's actually having an effect on the little ones too, because if you see here, look at the girl in the back, look at her posture, how rounded over her head is. So typically people were not starting to present with these spinal issues, postural issues, back pain until later in life. Now we're seeing this happening in people that are under 10 years old because of the chronic usage of devices. So that's scary, right? So that's really scary, because our posture has a significant impact on us, as we've learned. And so it's really important that you are aware of that, because over time, this is what starts to happen. We start to see that chronic bending forward. So whether that's, from working on a computer or working with tools, we have that chronic forward flexion. So anytime we bend forward is a forward flexion. So we're hinging at the hips, and then, left unchecked over time, this is what starts to happen. And this is what's considered, the kind of characteristic posture of aging, But it's not necessarily the case, because if you are proactive and use the tools that you learned today, then you're going to be able to empower yourself with tools to prevent this from happening in your body. Because we read a lot about people's body language based on their posture, right? That's really what body language is a nonverbal communication. And that's approximately 80% of your communication is nonverbal. So that's very significant. Because remember, we talked about how your mood will influence your posture, and your posture will influence your mood. It's called embodied psychology. It's very interesting because they have very connection with each other. We're going to learn more why. Because we can read a lot from someone's posture, right? So if we look at these two women here, if we look at them and we see their positioning, we can make some assumptions about them based on their posture. So if you look at the woman on the left, very collapsed or rounded over, see how much that was similar to Mr. Green's posturing, right? So when he was rounded over, slouching forward towards the keyboard. So if you looked at her, you might think, oh my goodness, what's wrong? Like, are you sad? Did something happen? Are you tired? What's going on? Are you discouraged? What's going on? Like, if you just take a glimpse, you make some assumptions based on the way that she's holding her body, okay? Whereas the woman on the right, very much more upright. She looks alert. She looks present. She looks engaged. She's paying attention to whatever she's looking at. It's a very different posturing. So that sends the signal to other people that are in your surrounding environment. So whether that's your coworkers, your team members, your family, but it sends the same signal to your body. Because as we start to slouch over, it signals to your body, because that's a classic posturing. So if you look at the woman on the left, that's a classic posturing of sadness or discouragement or depression or or tiredness. And so keeping in mind that as we start to stay in this pattern over and over and over, then we start to signal that same message up to your brain. Your psychology receives the same message that, something's wrong. She's not breathing very well. She's holding herself in that weak, tired position. I don't know what's going on, but maybe that's what's going on. So what's happening here in this photo is, if you look at our friends, they might look like they're really sad, right? If they're super bummed out, they're really just kind of sitting there slouched over. What you're looking at is actually a photo with their phones removed. If you look at their if you look at their hands, the photographer took the phone out of the image. So if you look at this and you think, oh, okay, wow, this is interesting, because this is how our classical posture of being on the phone is. But look at what it's signaling to us from a body language perspective, but it's also signaling that to their own brains, because they're in that sort of rounded, slouched over position. So our friends here, again, if you look at their hands, you can tell that there was some sort of device in their hands. But if you look at their body, again, you look at their body and they're in that rounded, slouched over forward head position. So this is becoming our chronic posture. And if we're not doing things to move us out of this posture into a balanced state, then we start to really feel the effects. Day after day, time after time, then we start to really feel the effects. So let me know in the comments if this is making sense to you. I'd love to know in the comments what you think. Thanks for being here, Paula. Great to have you. So let me know if this is making sense to you. I'd love to have a conversation. Just checking on my phone quick. See, and so that's the thing. I'm not being a very good example right now because I have the phone down here. And when I'm looking down at the phone, I try to train myself that, and this is a really great takeaway for you guys, is when you're on your phone, lift your phone up. Lift your phone up to eye level, because then that allows you to stay in that more upright position. So give me an up in the comments if you guys are, if that's making sense to you, okay? So up, hold it up. Even if you stand it up, it's a little better. All right, so we're gonna move on. So let me know in the comments. Give me a B. We're going to take a little posture break. So what I want you guys to do is put your phone down. If you're holding the phone, put it down and actually go ahead and stand up. So I haven't stood up in a little minute here. So I'm going to get you to stand up. So this is something that you can easily integrate into your day, and it's very powerful. So this comes from the American Institute of Posture, and they call it the posture break. So what we do is just take yourself out of that rounded curve into a more upright, stronger posture. And super easy to do this because we want to move our spine back into that extended position so that everything's in a line rather than slouched over. So stand up, feet on the floor, abs in tight. Take your arms out to the side and squeeze your shoulder blades together and breathe. Okay, so just remember to breathe. And if it's okay in your neck, you're going to lift your chin and look up a little bit. Keep breathing. Deep belly breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Squeezing your shoulder blades, lifting your chest. Stretch your arms out nice and wide. Good. Okay, and then come back down. So sit back down. And when you sit, notice if you naturally sit yourself back into a stronger alignment. So this is super powerful. That was like 30 seconds, right? 30 seconds. So this is really, really powerful. And so this is super important so that you can realign your spine periodically. So let me know in there if what you guys think about that. And then we're going to go on to our next one is B. Okay, so give me a B in the comments. Give me a B. Give me a B. Because what do you think the first B is? So to review, we had awareness and alignment. And B is breath, B. But something that we forget. So here's the thing. When we sit in that rounded slouch posture, your ability to breathe goes down by 30%. That's pretty significant, right? So I don't want you to go into weak posture right now because I just did something to put you in the opposite. So what you're going to do is just slightly let your shoulders collapse and then try to breathe. Good. And now sit back up nice and tall, shoulders back, chin back. Try to breathe. So hopefully you can tell the difference there. So your ability to breathe deeply is called your vital lung capacity. So that's your ability to take a full deep breath. When you breathe, when you're in a slouched position, it goes down by 30%. This is very significant because when our oxygen levels go down, your body will always prioritize your brain because that's, the motor of your engine, if you will. You're always going to have oxygen to the brain, but when the overall oxygen level goes down, it goes down as well. So that's when we are starting to feel a little bit sluggish, tired, and distracted. This can often be due to short and shallow breathing. So there's a teaching in yoga that is the quality of your breath is equal to the quality of your life is equal to the quality of your breath. So the quality of your life is equal to the quality of your breath. And that's really important because when we take long, deep breaths, we shift ourselves into a very calm state. And we move out of that stress, frantic, short, and shallow breathing pattern that is the stress breathing pattern. And we know that stress is a risk factor in every major chronic disease. So it's very, very important that you do whatever you can, especially considering our global situation, especially considering the relevance to the breath, considering COVID and all of that. You do whatever you can to bring your stress levels down. And it's beautiful to me that the most powerful way for you to do that is to breathe deeply and slowly. It's so, so beautiful to me because it's so important. And this is what the wisdom traditions and the ancient cultures and the ancient practices they've known this whole time instinctively knew that your breath is the most powerful tool to bring you into your body and into the present moment. So that's really beautiful. That's not a B, but it is a B, right? So it's the beautiful breath, if you will. So here's my question. If the quality of your life is equal to the quality of your breath, would you rather that your life is short and shallow or deep and full? Hello. I mean, it's not really a question, is it? Let me know in the comments, short and shallow or deep and full. Because here's the thing, my friends. If you continue to take short, shallow breaths, it will impact your overall health and the quality of your life and the duration of your life, right? So this is science. It's backed by yoga and all these different philosophies and practices, but it's science. So can't argue with that. And so it's really important to be aware of the breath. So because the slouching posture limits our ability to breathe deeply, what do? You got to move out of the slouch. You got to get out of the slouch, my friend, because stress is real. it's chronic, right? And especially right now, you're being inundated with all sorts of information that can trigger and, worsen your stress, which depletes your energy. Actually, stress puts extra wear and tear on your system, which ages you more quickly. It causes and increases inflammation. It increases blood pressure and cholesterol. And so when you're under stress, your body is in survival mode. It is just protecting you from the potential threat of whatever you're perceiving to be a threat, because that's what stress is impacted by, is our perception of our surrounding environment or situations. So your body is like, hello, where's the tiger? I'm totally like amped up. Where's the tiger? Where's the tiger? Because your DNA, your genetics hasn't changed from the time when we were worried about saber-toothed tigers. So we're in a chronic state of stress. Your body's like, whoa, am I under attack? Like what's happening? And so your body's in survival mode when you're under stress. And so it's not thinking about, oh, I should have some creative moments here and make amazing decisions. It's like, we got to get away. We got to survive. So when you're under stress, your higher brain functions are actually shut down. And so this impacts your ability to concentrate, make decisions, be creative. And here's a really important thing, is that when you're under stress, your heart rate goes up to get more oxygen in, more carbon dioxide out. Your blood pressure goes up, and your heart rhythm is very erratic. It's very erratic. And so it's very inconsistent. That's what that means. So it's called an incoherent pattern. So coherent is consistent. And so when we are under stress, take a look at the slide on the top. This is what your heart rate is looking like, right? And so this can, of course, long-term have an effect on your overall heart function and eventually your whole body's function, right? So this is really interesting to look at. So when we're under stress or have a negative emotion, that's what your heart rate looks like. Whereas if you are in a calm state and you're feeling a positive emotion, such as appreciation and gratitude and love and compassion and joy and empathy, your heart rate is in a very consistent pattern. So it's a very consistent pattern. So let me know in the comments, give me a heart if you guys are listening and paying attention, and if that makes sense. So again, this is absolutely verified and researched by science. Particularly, there's an institute called the HeartMath Institute, and they look at the impact of our state of our heart on our overall health. So when your heart is in a consistent rhythm, it signals the same thing to your brain. And when your brain and your heart are in a consistent rhythm with each other, it actually signals optimum function in your body. It increases and allows for a balancing of your hormones. It slows down the aging of your cells. It increases your higher brain function they're turned on. So then you can be sharp and present and creative and make good decisions. So this is really important. And this is something that you can do anytime. If you bring your breath into a consistent rhythm and you think of a positive emotion, so whether that's, someone that you love, someone that you're grateful for, it helps you to shift more into this consistent heart rhythm. So that's really, really powerful. Awesome. Thank you for the hearts, Michael. Great job. Thanks for being here and participating. I appreciate that a lot. So first B was breathing, right? So breathing, so important. Second B, balance, right? If we're talking about yoga, of course we got to talk about balance and alignment, right? So here's the thing, my friends. If we sit for too long, we are sitting most of the day, right? We talked about most people sit on average about 8 hours every day. That's alarming. And so we spend a lot of time sitting down, everything's slowing down. And let's be honest, when most people sit, they slouch, right? That's just kind of par for the course, if you will. So it's really important that we do movements and stretches like we were talking about. In case you missed it at the beginning, I was talking about how I got to this work was my hands went numb. Both hands went numb and all the way up my forearms. And I was lucky enough to get to a physical therapist who taught me how to bring my body into balance, how to relieve the numbness and the pain, because this is so important. And I bring this up now because this is all about balance. So your body, in and around every joint, there's obviously muscles and there's tendons and ligaments and all that. And so we want to have a delicate balance of both strength, so your ability to contract the muscles and perform the movements that you want, and flexibility, the ability to move freely. So this delicate balance is called tensegrity. So there's an integrity of tension in and around every joint in your body. Here's the thing. If you are sitting down, so if these are your legs and here's your spine, if you are sitting down like this most of the day, Then we have obviously a tension in the front line of the body and an overstretched weakness in the back of the body. So think about it. Remember, we were talking about the posture, the classical posture of aging, right? I showed you the elderly gentleman who's in that very rounded slouch position. That's the classical posture of aging. Thank goodness that is not inevitable for you. But you must do things to return yourself into balance, especially if you sit all day. So important to integrate movements that move you out of this slouchy slouch into a strong upright posture. Because why? You guys know it has mad effects on your physical health, your mental clarity, your ability to breathe deeply, your productivity, your creativity, your overall mood and happiness, your sleep, your stress level. It's really important. And then from a physical perspective, it's very important. You want to be able to do the things that you love to do, right? You want to be able to pick up your little ones, Paulina. You want to be able to go surfing or whatever you like to do without feeling any pain. So this is so important. So if you were sitting like this all the day, what do you think you would do to bring yourself into balance? Let me know in the comments. It may seem like an obvious question, but it's just important because we have to have this realization before we start to really take action, right? So what you need to do is strengthen your core musculature. So before we go any further, when people think of core muscles, they often just think of the ones they can see, which are abdominals, right? And if you are sitting like this all day long, and then you do exercises that go like this, so you're doing abdominal curls or crunches or V-sits or piking exercises, and you're perpetrating that rounded posture, then you're just perpetrating that rounded slouch posture by the core exercises you're doing. No bueno. So it's very important that you realize, and I mean, you probably know because this has become a common part of our dialogue around exercise and training lately, is that we need to go back into strong alignment, right? This is my whole message to you. That was the A, is strong alignment. We have to be aware. But really what you need to focus on is the core musculature. Yes, your abs are important, but the core musculature on the back of your body, okay? So that you're bringing your spine into that normal A alignment, that S curvature of your spine. Because if you're just crunching, you're putting more pressure on your vertebrae and more pressure on the discs. And that's when we can, set the stage for all sorts of other issues of back pain, injuries, all of that. That's why we have so much lower back problems, is because we're in that compressed position, which places a lot of pressure on your lower back. So it's very important that you go back into that nice, strong line of an S curve. So anything that you do on your tummy, we do a lot in yoga, you guys know, you do on your tummy and you lift your head up and you're strengthening these muscles that you can see here. So I call it adult tummy time. Okay, so why? I think it's funny, first of all. B, because when you were little, you may not remember this, you might, when you were little, your mom put you on your tummy and had you just lay there and you were like, burr, burr, and you were lifting your head. So this is neurologically important because it contributes to the development of your brain. But what it's doing is it's strengthening the S curvature of your spine, being able to lift and hold your head up. So this is interesting, right? Full circle, because now we're in this position that where we're sitting and slouched over a keyboard, you kind of look like you did when you were a little fetus. And now you have to go into these these exercises to strengthen you in the backside of your body. So basically you're doing adult tummy time. Okay, give me a smiley, laughy face in the comments if you guys are hearing me. Okay, so all of this stuff is very important because we have to strengthen the spinal curves. So Mr. Joe Pilates, you probably have heard his last name before, Pilates, kind of the classic gold standard in core training, knew instinctively, and he knew based on his own pain, he had a whole sorts of pain, and so that's why he developed Pilates in the first place, that you're only as young as your spine is flexible. So that's really important to remember, because if your spine is not flexible, it tends to pull us into that rounded curvature, right? So we have to move into the opposite curve. You don't have to necessarily do these deep back bends, but you do any sort of like lifting and lengthening through the back of your body so that we engage. So cobras and all sorts of stuff that we do in yoga, planking, any lunging, a lot of the warrior poses are really great for that. So really helping to maintain your spinal stability and mobility, right? Because that's what it's all about. It's all about B, balance. We got to strengthen our core muscles, C, so that we can do this for as long as we want, because it's really important that we have consistency, right? So C is consistency. So awesome. Consistency is sticking with it. You can't do one round of core exercises and be like, boom, I'm good, and then go back and sit and slouch over your keyboard all day. No, it's not going to work. I mean, it'll help, but it's not going to solve the problem. And the thing is that most people don't start doing stuff until they're really motivated and they're in pain, which I understand. But if you can get ahead of that and you can start to do things on a regular basis to keep yourself strong, then you can prevent the back pain. You can hopefully prevent those whole host of negative health issues that we talked about at the beginning by showing up for yourself and committing to your health now and for years to come. Because if you're consistently putting in the efforts, you will get what? What will you get if you put in the effort? I'll give you a hint. It starts with an R. Reward. You got it. Reward. Yeah. So that's the thing. And then I find it really interesting because, I mean, you guys know, obviously, I'm an advocate for exercise and yoga. I mean, hello. But for me, it's a non-negotiable. I cannot start my work day without doing my practices. I have a bunch, so I won't bore you with all of that right now. But probably not bore you, but I won't go into it in depth. But I'm going to tell you that I can tell the difference when I go right to work after waking up and just maybe doing my meditation and my gratitude practice without doing any yoga or exercise. If I go right to work, I can feel the difference in my body right away because the muscles are not activated. You're in a kind of tight, constricted position. You're very tense from sleeping, not a lot of blood flow while you're sleeping. And so what I'm an advocate for is having you do movement before you go to work. Get some blood flow going, get some muscles loosened up, activate your stronger alignment so that you don't go right from the sleeping position to this position at the keyboard, right? So if you're consistently showing up and putting in the time, it doesn't take a lot of time. It's really, you can feel the effects in your body. So let us review. We went back to the beginning. We have A, awareness to alignment, right? So 2 A's there, awareness and alignment. How do you do this? Set an alarm on your phone, set a timer, put a Post-it note on your computer or your laptop or your workstation. And we talked about lifting your phone up to eye level. Okay, so don't let it hold down by your belly button. Why we do that, I don't know, but train yourself to lift your phone up. You can just kind of let it rest here. If it feels too heavy, you can use your other arm so that you have it like this, so that we lift our phone up to eye level to prevent you from going and rounding over, okay? Those are great. B, breath, deep, slow breaths in and out of your nose if possible, because we have obviously the nose hairs filter out some of the toxins, and it's partly because it triggers your parasympathetic nervous system, which we didn't go into too much, but that's the opposite of stress. Okay, so that's the slowing, calming, rest, digest versus fight or flight or stress. Because when we take short, shallow breaths, that triggers a bit of an activated energy in our body, which can, over time, if you're taking short, shallow breaths, trigger stress, right? Excuse me. And then B, we have B, stretch the tight, strengthen the sleepy. So we talked a little bit about when we sit, our muscles get weaker. So there's a whole host of issues, one of which is called sleeping booty. It's technically called gluteal amnesia, but I think it's funnier to call it numb bum and sleeping booty because that's the reality of it. If you're sitting on it for so much time, it's not doing what it's supposed to do, i.e. move you into strong posture, so it tends to get a little sleep. When we have muscles that are sleepy and others that are tight, then we have the imbalance, right? So bring it back into balance by strengthening your core musculature, front, back, sides, all the way around, and do it with consistency. This is really important. So ABCs, right? Super easy. It seems, but until you get into the habit of it, it can become, something that you're like, yeah. I'll get to it later. But here's the thing. If you show up for your body consistently, because your mind and your body are so interconnected, and you do these things to bring you into stronger alignment, you'll feel better physically, mentally, emotionally, because we have that trickle effects into all aspects of your life. So give me ABCs if you guys get it. So here's the thing. I don't know why you came today, other than maybe you wanted to learn your ABCs. Maybe you're feeling frustrated with, feeling in pain all the time, or if you're overwhelmed, or if you're feeling like you just constantly have no motivation or focus. And so you maybe, you've heard about how people can stay healthy and strong at work by integrating some of these tools, which actually helps to skyrocket their productivity. And you wanted to, learn more about that, how you can increase your productivity by strengthening your posture, by moving into stronger alignment. So that might be why you're here. Maybe you wanted to refresh your ABCs, or maybe you just want to hang out, which I love and I appreciate so much. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Awesome. So here's the thing. I have something to share with you that is awesome. So we talked a little at the beginning about yoga at my desk. So this is a program that I've created to help you integrate the tools of yoga into your workday, specifically designed to manage the aches, pains, and challenges of sitting at a desk all day. This will completely transform your life and your business, because you know by now how important your posture is to your overall health, your mental health, your physical health. Your ability to concentrate and be productive is impacted by all of that. But here's the thing. If you're not taking action and balancing the effects of sitting down all that time, it is going to affect your health now and long term. But the great thing is that you can get started and you can begin to integrate these tools right away, because the Yoga at My Desk program is a complete program to help you at your desk. So the cool thing about this is that all of the sessions are designed so that you can do them right at your workstation with minimal amount of space. All you need is about arm's length. You don't need any other equipment other than your desk and your chair, and you can do them even in your work clothes. So it's designed specifically, I talked about how I'm a personal trainer and a yoga teacher. It's designed to help you optimize your health and happiness at work so that you have consistent energy and focus all day long. We talked about how when we slouch, our oxygen levels go down, our tension levels go up. This brings your energy levels down significantly. But if you're taking breaks throughout the day, as we talked about, using the timer, getting up and moving, stretching and breathing, it actually significantly impacts your productivity level. This is very powerful because we're always looking for ways to boost our productivity, right? And so, whether you own your own business or your team member, this is very, very important. And some of the most forward-thinking businesses have already integrated tools like this because they have seen that they're validated by science and productivity experts, because it's really, really important that we're managing physical health, especially now more than ever when it's become a huge part of our conversation and our global situation. It's essential, it's imperative that we take care of ourselves, and that means on all levels, right? Physical, mental, and emotional. So this program is, as I mentioned, developed to balance the effects of working on a computer, stretching the areas that are tight. So each session is customized using all sorts of stretches and yoga poses and different movements to stretch out areas that are getting tight, probably your neck and shoulders, maybe lower back. And as I also mentioned, activate the sleepy, weaker muscles. So important, because we have to do that balance, right? That's what's B, balance. And then C, core musculature. So we got to keep that balance around all the joints of your body. Perfect. Okie dokie. So the more you strengthen your posture to sit, stand, and walk taller with more confidence, you're at less of a risk of injury. So using these techniques will actually boost your brain health and your function to help you ease your stress, your sleep, and wake up refreshed, feeling happier, improve your memory and your concentration and your decision making. And this will give you exactly what you need to integrate these tools into 10-minute intervals into your day with no extra equipment or even changing your clothes. So that's the cool thing about this work, is that it's a complete guide to staying healthy and happy at work. And this is an amazing tool set. So you have 24/7 access, and there's a growing library of content. There's over 30 videos in there already, and it's literally step by step. There's nothing that's left out. Each session has its own focus, and you activate and strengthen your whole body because nothing is left out. It's very important that we have that full balanced health and strength. And then we also have, as you guys know, a community of smart and savvy, forward-thinking business owners and yogis and team members that will help and support you and encourage you along the way. So you will know exactly what you need to do to wake up your sleeping booty and get rid of your tech neck and have energy at the end of the day. And so that you sleep better, you wake up feeling refreshed and you're ready for the day and feeling inspired, knowing that you're boosting your business and your sales are going up. You're serving your clients at the highest level because you're showing up for yourself. And you're able to handle any challenge with poise and presence and confidence because you're feeling good. You're feeling healthy. You're feeling strong. You're feeling energized. And you're doing your ABCs, right? You have awareness to your alignment. You're aware of your breathing. You're balancing your body. You're strengthening your core muscles. You're showing up for yourself consistently. This is what it's all about. So the Yoga at My Desk program is an amazing way for you to do that. And the benefits are instantaneous. You feel better right away, which is great. And then because of the trickle effects of yoga, it has long lasting. Plus the cool thing is the way that you show up for yourself will impact how you show up in your business. So the results and the effects are directly transferable to your business and your work. So this is amazing, right? It's a really important thing for us to integrate. So I wanted to just show you quickly that there's a lot of different lessons. Each one is about 10 minutes long, and you get all the tools that you need. They each have a unique focus. And so once you've gone through all of them, then you can go back and choose exactly the one that you need. So if it's your neck and shoulders that day, then you go in and you do the release your neck and shoulders one. And if you, if you wanted just a burst of energy, then you do the burst of energy one. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use the tools of yoga and be able to feel better right away. So there's also monthly meditations that you can go in and do. I have also included a bunch of longer sessions that you can do at the beginning of the day to energize and wake your body up, or at the end of the day to relax and unwind the tensions at the end of the day, which is awesome. So kind of wherever you want to take it and use it. So there's lots of different resources in there. And so I wanted to let you know that, may be thinking right now, like, oh, what's the price? Is it like $200, $150? No. So what I wanted to do now is I wanted to make these tools available to you. And because I know how important they are for your overall health. So I'm currently offering 40% off. And if you use the code ABC, it actually brings it down to less than $100 for the whole year. So there's more resources being added all the time, or just $9.95 a month. So again, this is an invaluable tool set and it's a great deal. Plus I got some extra bonuses in there for you. So there's some mini sessions. So that's the neck and shoulder mini course, so that you have little ones that you can do throughout the day. And then there's also some extra bonuses of some Kickstarter guides and some tracking calendars and some resources that you have right at your fingertips. And so it really makes it a great deal. Plus, I have a satisfaction guarantee. I would love for you guys to test it out and see if it's, something that you're interested in. And then I definitely would honor that if you're not feeling it, or if you want to, if you have any questions, then you can always reach out, and because your satisfaction is really important to me. And I want you to feel that you are taken care of and that this is in fact what you need. So that's always there. And I have lots of amazing testimonials from my students that, they sit at the computer all day, and it's just like changing the game for them to be able to have these tools that they can integrate anytime throughout their day, which is so, so, so invaluable and important. That's what Lori had to say about it. And then Catherine loves it. So she said, taking these incremental breaks is really, really important to be able to do this at home or at her computer at work. And that it's super easy to use the program, and that she would highly recommend this to any office worker, which is great. Not sure what happened with the font on that last one, but what have you. Awesome. So that is the Yoga at My Desk program, using the ABCs, putting it to use. And so then if you do end up signing up in the next maybe few hours, then I would love to offer you a 20-minute personalized posture consultation. So what I do is I use a specialized app, and we take a photo of you from the front. So head on from the feet to the head and then from the side. And then we do a postural analysis using this app. And then we can figure out which ones of the sessions are the best ones for you to start with so that you can really, really maximize the benefits and the results of the program by, tailoring it specifically to your body and your needs and also your goals. So that is a great fast action bonus if you sign up in the next 24 hours. I would love to offer you that. And if you're ready to get started, you can head over to yogaatmydesk.yoga, yogaatmydesk.yoga, and use the code ABC to save 40%. So it's an amazing deal. I would love for you guys to join us in the program. Let me know if you have any questions. Perfect. Good, good, good. Awesome work, everybody. So thank you so much for being here today. It's been my honor to share these tools with you, learning the ABCs of strong posture. So yes, check it out at yogaatmydesk.yoga and use the code ABC to save 40%. And I would love to hear your feedback about the program. I know it's been helpful for so many people, and I know that it could be helpful for you if you choose to put the tools to use. So have a beautiful rest of your day, everybody. Thank you, and take good care. And I look forward to hearing from you. Awesome. Well, let me know if you guys have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And congrats for taking time to learn your ABCs today. It's so important that you have these tools. All right, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.